Hi folks, so this is I guess this is the final part really. This is part 11 of the PETA PAZ1 restoration. Now I'm going to do a crank up, so you're going to see her starting up as well. I've got the trolley finished, so look, last time you saw this trolley the wheels were pretty awful. I've got myself a new set of wheels for the front. These are nice, these wheels. From Casters Direct. Those are 200mm little solid tyre on a metal rim. They got the cage bearings as well in them, which I didn't really need, but they came with, like, not roller bearings, those kind of long ones, I don't know what you call them. Just so I put some grease on there and put those on. Nice one either side, and then on the front I thought I could pull it around, but it's a heavy old lump. So I welded a plate on here, and I got a couple of casters. They were really cheap actually. They're like £5 for two. They're supposed to be rated at 50 kilograms each, so that's 100 kilo, which is, that's okay on there. But I ended up with about 8 of the blooming things, so that's okay. There's one more job to do on here. There is one little job which I didn't really need to do, but I thought I'd bet I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. It's the little rubber bellows that go on here on the side of the rack. Just there, you put little rubber bellows at one side and one that side. It just keeps the dirt from going into the injector pump. So I'm just waiting for those to be delivered. And then that really is it, I think. That really moves really easily though, because it is a heavy old thing to move around. So that really is very helpful. It's quite a good little useful little trolley, that. But look, I think she's looking very beautiful. So yeah, there we go. I'll have to think of something else to do now, won't I? But yeah, no, she's a lovely engine, and there we go. The next one's going to be her running, so you'll see that in a couple of minutes. Well, you'll see that immediately, won't you? Because I'll add the two videos together. So there we go, over and out. Hi guys, sorry, just before we do the crank up, I suddenly realised I wanted to share a bit of info with you, a little bit of history on the PAZ1, and there's a really great book actually, but it's called PETA, Air-Cooled Diesel Engines for Agriculture and Industry. I've got a job for you, and it's by the legendary Jim Perkins. I'm sure a lot of you that are into PETA and Lister engines will have heard of Jim Perkins. He was a service engineer for PETA for many, many years, and he went all over the place. I think he went all over the world, in fact, and he had a wealth of knowledge, did Jim. And he was such a helpful guy to us guys, that were all guys and girls, who were restoring PETA engines. And when he retired, I think he retired in about early 80s, I think. But he carried on working, and he bought a load of stuff. He ended up with a lot of stuff from PETA's, and he had so many spare parts. And I went up to his house a couple of times. I think he lived up in Leicestershire, I think it was. I think it was Leicestershire, somewhere up that way. I can't remember now. But yeah, we had a couple of trips up there, and yeah, I had a look around all his sheds and his workshops. He had so many bits. I don't know what's happened to it all, because obviously, sadly, he passed away. Poor old Jim. He was such a good guy, though. He's such a humble chap, so helpful. But I got this book off him, and I got him to sign it for me. Look, he wrote that for me. So that's a really treasured book, this is. So this little video is also a tribute to Jim. So thank you, Jim, wherever you are, working on PETA engines up in the great beyond. Who knows where we're going to end up. So this is a bit of information on when the PAZ1 was manufactured from. So the Series 1, which is my one, was first made in 1954 until 1963, and its engine that's the engine numbers. So that was that one. So that's 54 to to 63. Then the Series 2 came out. Now I used to have a Series 2. You'll see it on one of my channel, on one of my videos, but I sold it. I had to sell a lot of my engines to raise some money to pay for double glazed windows. Are they worth it? Are they worth Petter and Lister engines? I had to get them though because the old wooden ones were falling out. So I had to try and raise some money, but never mind, that's another story. But so I did have a Series 2. That was managed from 1964 officially to 1979. But I believe someone told me that they were still selling them until 1981. So I guess whether they were making them until 1981, I don't know. But I expect they're selling the surplus ones off. And then, excuse me, that's the engine that replaced it, the well, I thought, is it AS? No. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry. No, sorry, I beg your pardon. This is the AS-Z1, which is an Armstrong Siddeley badged PAZ1. The actual engine that replaced the PAZ1 was the ACZS1, I think it was, which was very popular for cement mixers and small power outputs. But let's have a little look through this book, because I've marked it up with some little bits which shows a little bit of information on the Petter PAZ1. Look, there we go, look at that there. That's on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of Petter engines. Percy Petter in the centre examines the newly launched PAZ1. So that's a picture from 1954, and there it is, there's the PAZ1, there's old Percy Petter. But yeah, let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, there we have a Series 1 powering a pump, an early PAZ1 fitted to a water pump on a site in Lincolnshire with a Blow-Knox tracked excavator in the background. Up there's the old rope excavator. So these little PAZ1s were used for all sorts of uses where it demanded, where you needed a small horsepower, because I mean, I don't think they made more than 3 horsepower maximum. So, but they were very rugged and they were ideal for cement mixers, water pumps, and things that required that kind of output. And there's someone repairing one in a nice white coat. Look, probably not the best thing to wear, but that thing got greasy. On site with a Series 2 it's a Series 2 PAZ1, the engine that the AC1Z was built to replace in this, what must be a posed view with a service van in the background. Yeah, there we go. So there's one being repaired. Let's have another look. Oh yeah, that's the Armstrong Siddeley version. So they obviously badge engineering there with the PAZ1. Tells you a bit of information about it here. It's interesting here because it says here lubricating oil capacity 3 litres. But in my little book, which is for the Series 1, it says 3.8 litres. So yeah, I'm not sure whether they reduce the oil capacity on the smaller engine, but this is quite interesting because I was going to talk about this in a minute. Lubricating oil below 5 degrees, SA 1030 or 10W, 5 degrees to 30 degrees, which is probably the British climate, 20W, above 30 degrees you should use SAE 30, and that's the weight of it, 108 kilograms. Most of that's the blooming flywheel, I reckon. There was another picture I wanted to show you. Where is it? There was that other picture. Hang on a minute, I might just pause it and then I'll just find it. So yes, here's the other interesting one. This is really interesting. I'd love to see if any of these have survived, probably none. So that's the Fordson E1A, Fordson Major. And it's got this contraption bolted on the front. Look at that, that's some serious bit of kit that someone's designed. So you've got like a sickle bar mower, which is used it's for cutting verges, presumably. Well, it says here, yeah, another PAZ1 here on verge cutting, a task that nowadays is undertaken by PTO-driven equipment. 1960. So you've got a Series 1 PAZ1 strapped to like this framework system on the front of the Fordson tractor, powering a sickle bar mower. So that's quite a serious bit of kit, isn't it? Looks like it's quite involved bolting that onto there, doesn't it? But there you go. Now they use these flail mowers, don't they? Flailing the living daylights out of everything. But yeah, so the old PAZ1 was a very sort of useful engine for powering all sorts of things that needed a low horsepower. Anyway, there we go. That's a little insight into the Petter PAZ1 uses of it. This book, if it's still in publication, is a really good book. All Petter enthusiasts would probably like to have a copy of that. The other thing I just wanted to quickly talk about was oil. Oil for the engine. It's always a bit of a controversial subject, oil, isn't it? I mean, I suppose, like a lot of us enthusiasts have got these engines. We're not like running them for hours and hours and hours. So you can probably get away with putting in different sorts of oil, I suppose. I mean, nowadays it's all synthetic and semi-synthetic, like 15W30. But they were originally designed to run on quite a lightweight oil. And if you put a heavy oil in them, it makes it a lot harder to start, especially in the cold weather, because it's very thick and the oil creates a lot of drag, I think, and it's probably not so good. And also the PAZ1, which is like a lot of these sort of engines, those small diesel engines, they don't have a full flow oil filter. I know the PC1 does, and some of the AVAs and the PHs and the Lister, some of them have them. But I know my Lister LD1 doesn't have a full flow oil filter. That's on my auto truck. And I know obviously the PAZ1 does not have a full flow oil filter. They just have like a strainer in the sump, which is the intake. The oil intake is via a Gore strainer, which sucks the oil up and then distributes it to the bearings and what have you. So you really need to use the right grade oil, because the multi-grade oils are designed to hold the dirt in suspension, and then before it goes to the moving parts of the engine, it's passed through the filter, like the spin-on filter or the little cartridge filters. So the engine's drawn up, the oil is drawn up from the sump, then it's pumped through the oil filter, then it goes to the bearings, so it should be clean by then. But with these engines like the PAZ1 and the LDs and the LRs, if they don't have the full flow oil filter, they're relying on just a little gauze thing to filter it. And this type of oil here is a low detergent oil, so it doesn't hold dirt in suspension. It allows the dirt and muck and stuff to sink to the bottom of the sump. And this was very well demonstrated on one of my earlier videos when I was cleaning out the sump, and there was like stuff that looked like butter. And that's from lack of oil changes, so that was a bit of an extreme example. But I expect a lot of you guys, when you've scraped out the sumps of the engines, you see this horrible gunge, which is down to poor maintenance. But the engines are still running because it's trapped in the bottom of the sump. It's trapped there, so it can't get into the pipes, and so yeah, it works quite well. But if you use oil that's got a high detergency, then that is keeping the dirt in suspension. Now I'm a layman when it comes to oil and stuff. I've done a bit of research, but I guess if you've restored your engine, it's really clean, the sump is really scraped out and really clean, you've really flushed it out with paraffin. I flushed my sump out with like loads of paraffin, and I scratched and brushed it all out so you could eat your dinner off the inside of my sump and the PAZ1. So you could probably get away with using any old oil within reason. But I chose this brand, Golden Film SA20. That is the oil that I've put in it, and that is the correct grade of oil. So yeah, So, but I'd be interested with any commentary of anyone else. I mean, the engines the engines will run with any oil. Obviously, they'll still run, but maybe I'm being a little bit OTT. But that is the oil I chose anyway. So there we go. Look, without further ado, I better not delay anymore. So we're going to see the crank up now. Hi guys. So it's time for a crank up on the PAZ1. I've had a request. Noisy road. I try to do it when there's less traffic, but it's tricky. So hi Ben from Ben's workshop. He told me to get a tripod and I've got one. My phone's sat on that tripod. Hi Joseph in Malta. Hi Sammy in Somerset. Hi Nigel in Somerset. Nigel likes watching my videos. I said Joseph. Hi Joseph in Malta. I've said that already, haven't I? And hi to anyone else that watches my videos. There's not many people watching the one on the PAZ1, so you need to tell your friends about it. Come and look at the PAZ1. This is a bit of British mechanical art, built from 1954 till maybe 1979 stroke 1981. So he made thousands of these little engines. Great for cement mixers and water pumps and all sorts of things. Lovely engine. I do love this engine, which is looking pretty nice, I have to say. So let's get her going without further ado. What I'll do is I'll get the oil circulating around a bit. I can hear the injector cracking off nicely. It's blooming cold, but she's a pretty good starter. She's got new piston rings. Oh, there she goes. So there we go. There's a nice crank up of the old PAZ1. I do really love this engine. Always, they're such a kind of busy engine. Lots of pipes and things. Yeah, it's a lovely engine. I'm very fond of this one. I'm never going to sell this engine ever. So there we go, folks. Over and out for now. Catch you later. Bye.